Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Fastball Sports Network. I am Frank. That is Mark. Mark, how you doing today?
Doing well. Ready to talk about some wrestling. A lot has happened in the last week or so since we recorded, so let's jump right into it.
Yeah, we're gonna review some Extreme Rules, and then we'll go from there. We got some more stuff later. But let's start at Extreme Rules, and you asked me what match was gonna open the show in our little preview that we did, and I had said the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium, and that was the one that opened the show, and I thought that was match of the night. I really did.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
I didn't know where you're going with that because I didn't remember what we said for the beginning and the end. But proud of you. It was definitely a fun match. I think we're getting to a part now. I'm Debbie Downer. I throw the water on everything and make it all suck, but I don't really need to see this too many more times. Like it was really good when they had it the first time. This was also very good. They had some good stuff on SmackDown. I fear that we're just going to kind of keep doing this nonstop, and I kind of want to get away from this.
That's fair. Hopefully they move Imperium on to other things. Hopefully they decide what they're gonna do with Sheamus and Pete Dunne slash Butch. I don't know if he's gonna get his name back or if he's gonna continue to be Butch or whatever. So we've seen people get their names back all of a sudden, like the LA Knight, all of a sudden. So you know, we'll see from there. But match wise, this was great. Don't care at all that the Brawling Brutes won, even though I thought this would be a good spot for Imperium. I don't think in the grand scheme of things it really matters. It was just a ton of fun of a match.
Yeah, it was right after the night prior Gunther beat Sheamus. So like there was no it is like semi 50-50 booking, but there was no real harm to Imperium here.
Yeah. Moving right along, this was the only match I was disappointed in the night. And it wasn't the actual match. I thought the actual match was kind of really good. But at the end of this match, the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey, they did everything right except for the finish. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think we both had Liv winning this match, if I'm not mistaken. It's weird. It's definitely a weird decision. I feel like if this was the plan, then they kind of should have went with what I suggested and had Shayna beat Liv at the previous pay per view, and they kind of would have set up this match where you gave Liv that win over Shayna, which kind of established her. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then she loses here, so it feels like one step forward, two steps back for Liv, and Ronda doesn't need this. Why is Ronda the champion again?
I will say this with Liv, at least this time in this loss, as opposed to the win she had over Ronda Rousey, this looked a lot more like a match. She hung in there. She stood strong. She obviously got her, she got beat the entire time, but she was fighting back. She got offense in. So it was like it was a good look for Liv in the loss, if that's, if you could have that. But I think I'm just a little disappointed. I would have liked to see Liv hold on to that championship and get this big win over
Yeah, I
Ronda.
mean, she didn't job out to Ronda, but at the same time, like that doesn't matter right now for Liv. I feel like it's not about making her look good. It's like she really could have used that win. We're trying to establish new stars. We're trying to make different superstars kind of in a new highlight on the Triple H era. And this kind of just fell really flat.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with her. I know a lot of different rumors swirling around about what's next for her, but I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see what they do next with Ronda, with Liv, with really that whole entire women's division over on SmackDown, because I don't really know what the plan is over there. Like Raw has a very clear path here. It's got a lot of people that they're using. I don't really see the same continuity with the SmackDown women's division.
I didn't get to watch all of SmackDown. Was she on SmackDown this week, Liv?
Liv was I can't remember now.
At the end of the pay per view, she was like in the corner, like acting all weird, and like it's like the Bray Wyatt connection. So I didn't know if they kind of teased that more on Friday.
We're gonna have to see about that Wyatt thing. We're gonna touch more on Wyatt after we're done talking about Extreme Rules, because a lot of questions. We got answers and more questions when it comes to Bray Wyatt. So we'll go over all of that. But the next match was Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Pretty by the book, right? Like exactly how we thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, it was a little bit out there, I think, but it was a strap match, of course. So it was kind of a lot of outside interference, a lot of Scarlett getting involved, and it was fine. We, like you said, it was by the book. We knew Karrion was going to win. We didn't know exactly how it was going to get there. I think did okay in terms of making Drew look fine too, but it was fine.
Yeah, I thought this match was really interesting. They made the strap work. You know, it wasn't bad. It definitely had its moments, and then at the end there, and then Friday night, clearly this whole feud is not over. Drew attacked Cross, and Drew looked like a
Now, did Drew hit
bad.
him with a car?
Did it? What did you say?
Did Drew hit him with his car?
Was that it? Was that
Because
the?
SmackDown started with them like limping out of like a car accident.
I didn't get the implication that that was what happened, but he attacked him on the car. I thought that was. I thought like he attacked him into the car, like he threw him into the car,
It
like
started with it started with him limping out of the car, like they got into a car accident, and then Drew just showed up, and started beating him down.
I must have missed the beginning of SmackDown because I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again now because now I have to see. So they're implying that Drew just slammed into him with the car.
I believe that was the implication. Yes.
I gotta rewatch the segment now because I thought that they just got into a brawl backstage and Drew just threw him into the car. But okay, all right, I gotta
Yeah.
rewatch that match or rewatch the opening of SmackDown now. Next we got the Raw Women's Championship, which was Bianca Belair versus Bayley ladder match. I thought Bayley was going over here. You said Bianca was going to win. You were 100% correct. Bianca did go over. She got some help from. Did she get the help from? Now I'm trying to remember. Now I'm like
Bianca took down everyone. Bianca,
everyone,
I
right?
mean,
Okay.
like she. How much better could you make her look? Like she's kind of getting to like a Roman Cena territory where it's like she just beat. She had the match. Well, she had the match won. She no, sorry, Bianca had the match won, and then the two goons ran out, pulled her down. So she picked them both up on her shoulders and hit her finish. It's just like I love Bianca. She's great. She's awesome. But like, I don't think this is the right decision.
No, this is cool. I'm cool with this. I think if anyone deserves this treatment on this roster, it's the most talented woman on the roster, and that's what she is right now. I mean, she's more talented than Becky. She's more talented than Bayley. She's more talented than Sasha if Sasha were to come back. The only person you could argue is in the realm of athleticism
It's Charlotte.
and promo cutting is Charlotte. And even then, I'm all in on Bianca Belair. Great. This is great. She's great.
She's awesome. That's not no question. She's amazing.
You worried about the booking for this faction and for Bayley more on that side?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are we doing with that?
Well, they lost the tag team championship match initially and then won the tag team champions. So
Are they the current champions still, the two of them?
they're the
But I
champions.
mean, like, who cares?
I mean, I guess that's one way to put it. I don't know. I guess we got to see what happens. I got to see if we got to know if these brands are split. I don't think there's a brand split coming.
Probably not now. Like we kind of said a few weeks ago, it wouldn't make sense to do it now. Like right
It would
before.
have to happen like right now.
Yeah, and there's no like rumors or anything like that. So it's not happening this year, which is it's okay. I'm not like I was excited about the idea of it, but I'm not gonna like get upset over like we know that the focus now is war games. We know that's the focus as opposed to the 5-on-5.
Right.
So I mean that's cool. We'll see how they do it. We believe in Triple H, so let's see what he does with it.
It's just weird to have a SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion and not have separate brands for the women. It's like having a Raw and SmackDown tag team championships too, but luckily those are unified right now. So they're just a unified tag team champions. Like maybe Bianca will fight Ronda and unify the women's championships because that I'll tell you what, I'll subscribe to that match at Survivor Series. Give me Bianca Belair versus Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, that's a first timer. That's a potential. I don't know if dream match is the word, but it's definitely like a marquee matchup. So that'd be pretty cool. I definitely.
That'll,
I don't think it'd be to unify them if they had that match. I don't think that would be like the implication, but I'm in.
that'll be your battle of who's more protected right there, and
That wouldn't have a finish.
that.
No shot they would have the balls to give either of them the loss there. That would not have a finish.
Speaking of a match, and I want to give you your due here because moving on, we're gonna move on to Edge versus Finn Balor in the I Quit match, and I want to say that you called this match directly exactly how it happened. You said, and I quote, "I don't see Edge saying I quit unless they're holding a chair to Beth Phoenix's neck which is literally exactly what happened. Exactly. So bravo to you, sir. Good job. Great call on the booking there.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of nailed that one, huh?
so I guess was this match everything that you dreamed it would be, because this is exactly how you wanted it to go, right?
I was never into it. You knew I was never into it. I just kind of like played that in my head, and I was like, it's the only scenario that makes sense in an I Quit match. We need Beth to get involved, and I mean, kudos to them. They did the ruthless heel thing where he said I quit, and they still hit her with the chair. So like, I appreciate that. That's easy, cheap heat. Like that works. Still doesn't work for me. The Dominic stuff, you know that Dominic's terrible to me. Everything about him is the worst. But this was good for the Judgment Day. This was definitely a little boost to them.
Yeah, to me, this definitely started off things for Finn Balor in the right direction, where they say that he's going to be a huge part of WWE going forward. So now they're kind of in a, okay, well, if that's the case, we've heard this before. We heard that Vince absolutely loves Finn, and then he did nothing with them. And then they brought him back to NXT, and he was a big deal, and they were going to bring him up again, and they treated him like a big deal, and they had him going against Roman, and he was the demon, and it was a big deal, and then they did absolutely nothing with him. So I guess this is a good reascension for him up to the top. Now he's got his newest challenge in what was a pretty cool return, and one that was pretty surprising. I don't think anyone really had them in their Triple H bringing back bingo card, but the club came back, or the Good Brothers, as they're called in other places, and Gallows and Anderson. Did you like that return? Did you like that?
Um, it was okay. It was no, like the actual return was pretty cool how it was set up with AJ. They never really did much for me, which isn't like people love them in like their independent circuits and all these different things. I feel like maybe just in WWE where I watch, they haven't really been put in a position to succeed. Like this is kind of the second time now, maybe the third time they've had this like big triumphant return to WWE, and maybe it's done better this time around. But they're just kind of two guys to me.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I think keeping them with AJ makes them more interesting, just because AJ is good. Now AJ's got some backup. So hopefully we'll be seeing him a little bit more. But I think you're right. I think they need to put them in better situations this time around. Hopefully they do. And I think the emphasis on the tag team division, since Triple H has been in charge, has been a big, like, even though the Usos hold both of those belts, you could see he just keeps bringing in tag teams and bringing in tag teams and bringing in tag teams. So hopefully this is another one, so it's not just, for the longest time, it was the Usos and the New Day. And then the Street Profits came up, and we were like, okay, the Street Profits can hang with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I mean, you can pick your tag teams at certain points, but consistency, it's been the three of them and nobody else. So now we have another bona fide established tag team in the Good Brothers. We've got Hit Row. They are trying to make the Maximum Male Models a thing, and kudos to them for continuously going back to that. Well, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to catch on, but we have 6 or 7 established tag teams now that are actually tag teams, not just two people thrown together, which I think is a good thing.
No, definitely, and we definitely like that. We've seen countless times now over the years where like they'll announce like a random like tag team turmoil or some type of situation for a number one contendership, and you think in your head like, well, there's the New Day and the Usos, and you see them just throw random people. It's like, oh, that's how they're going to fill this out. And no, I mean, it's hopefully they keep going with this and put a real emphasis on the tag team division. That'd be good.
And also Dominic and
Right.
can be a tag team too if they really, really need to do something. And that won't seem as thrown together as sometimes in the past. Like they are the Judgment Day, they're a stable,
Yeah.
they could be a tag team. So also would be really funny if Sammy and Solo became a tag team and fought the Usos for the titles. I think that would be hysterical. But like obviously I don't think that's in the booking plans, but like that's just me like my mind turning where it's like, oh well, there are 4 guys other than Roman in that stable. So
It's gonna be so sad when they pull the trigger and they get rid of Sammy. It's gonna be
we're
so sad.
we're gonna have a whole conversation about the Bloodline, because there's actually a ton to talk about when it comes to them. So I'm gonna ask you to hold that thought until we finish off on
Okay.
Extreme Rules. But we have a whole conversation about the Bloodline coming up. So then the final of the night, and again, have to give you your flowers here. You did say that this was going to be how they went off air. It was Matt Riddle. It was Seth Rollins. Was not technically the main event of the night, but it was the last wrestling match on the card. So this match was I mean, like, we don't have to talk about, like, we really don't have to talk about this. Great match, fun stipulation in the fight pit. Good job. Riddle got even in the column like we thought. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say, right?
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of exactly what we expected these two to have a great match. It was fun. Cormier got involved. I feel like just enough where it wasn't like bad, but it worked. It was good. Like, you felt his presence, which was important. And then of course the ending.
Ah, yes, the ending, the White Rabbit being revealed. And as you said, you proclaimed on the show, it can't be anyone but Bray Wyatt. It would be a disappointment if it was anyone but Bray Wyatt, and they did not disappoint. It was Bray Wyatt, and I have never seen anything like that, really, to be completely honest. The presentation of that was incredible. It was a very Bray Wyatt-esque return without him having to attack anyone and make a statement that way. You know, like we had predicted that he would possibly get involved in one of the matches. I think we said Drew and Cross was one of the matches that we think that he might get involved. Didn't even need to do that. Just came in, didn't say a word, just had some music playing, some visuals. I mean, it was great. The whole thing was great.
No, yeah, 100%. Like, he is so brilliant, honestly. Like, Bray Wyatt is like he's so smart and he's so like intricate and he thinks everything out so well. And you just tell that like Triple H is giving him the run. Like, he's like letting him do what he wants to do. I'm sure like everything's obviously going through everyone, but he's having the creative freedom now that I'm sure he did not get under Vince, where everything kind of had to be checked off and signed off on, where you can kind of just tell he's doing his thing. And they're kind of in a difficult spot also because they have to do it differently in the sense that we loved the Fiend, we loved everything they did with the Firefly Funhouse, but it just didn't really work in the actual matches, which we kind of saw time and time again. Like, no one was really better off after they faced the Fiend. It never his thing was he didn't feel pain, he didn't lose, like he was just being like attacked, and he kind of just always like shook it off. He no sold finishers, which sometimes is cool, sometimes it's ridiculous, but they got to find a way now to do it differently and also keep it really exciting.
There is a reason why The Undertaker and Kane are so revered, I believe, like in WWE lore, and it's because those characters are so hard to pull off consistently for a long time. Keep them interesting, keep the creative going, and also, like you said, you kind of have to keep them away from championships a lot of the time. There's always a time and a place for people like those characters to win the title, but I mean, The Undertaker isn't known for his long title runs or anything like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like that wasn't his thing. And like you look at AEW and like they don't have a character like this. You know what I mean? Like it is so hard to establish a supernatural being horror character, especially in a PG era too. Um, so Bray Wyatt being back and people being that excited just shows you, like you said, how creative, how great he is at that kind of thing. Can WWE sustain this character and make it something that everyone loves? I mean, like they already were so excited that he was back. So like all they have to do is just keep building on this. And like you said, put people in position to have good matches with him because he's a good wrestler himself. And really just keep building upon all the things that they've already built here with Bray Wyatt. And I think that it'll be a successful return. But who do you think he's got first?
Who do I think he has first? I think we can do a Rey Mysterio. He just got moved over to the blue brand. That can make a lot of sense. He's fighting his own demons with his son right now. Ray's been around forever. They can bring up a lot of stuff. They want to touch Eddie, they can do that. There's a lot of different aspects they can do with Ray, and that could be a good one. I think we'll definitely see that, but I don't know if it'll be first. I'll say Ray for right now. What do you think?
I like that, and I'm trying to think. I think eventually him and Roman need to have it out. I don't know if that's going to be while Roman has a title around his waist, but eventually they're going to have to do that match. Like
It can't be
eventually,
for a long time.
I agree. I think right now it would be a mistake. Honestly, if that was a WrestleMania match, I I don't think I'd hate it. You know what I mean? Like if that main evented WrestleMania with those titles on the line. Now I don't know if the Wyatt Six is actually going to be a thing or if those were just like people stand in for figures. I don't that hasn't been revealed yet, right? Have you heard anything about that?
No, it's just rumors and speculations. There's no names confirmed to it. Like we touched on earlier, I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan's gonna be one of the characters. I think so. Alexa Bliss has ties to him as well. So there's the people that you can kind of just logically put together and think of. But like we just said, he's very smart. He's not going to be by the book. We're not going to be able to guess who they are.
Right. And I mean, with the exception of one, and that is if Bo Dallas is apparently back with the company, and obviously they're brothers. So I think he's a lock. And also I think another reason why that's definitely a thing is because his wife, JoJo, right? Well, actually, I don't know if they're married. I know they have kids together. I don't know if they're married. She was back the other day too.
Oh, really?
I don't know if she was just like visiting or something like that, but she took a picture with the other girl who kind of looks like her with the curly hair, the
Yep.
one who's announcing for SmackDown. What's her name?
I don't know. She's dating Ricochet. I don't know her name.
Yes, yeah. So she took a picture like with her, like, oh my god, it's like we're twins or something. It was the caption was something like that, which I thought was funny because they were both, curly hair and kind of on the shorter side. It was funny. But yeah, so she might be back too. I don't know, maybe she's not, but I thought that whole thing was just kind of funny. So yeah. But I honestly have no clue who he faces. Like I think like all the guys that you would think are kind of locked up with things right now, like you said, like Seth is kind of locked up with the United States Championship. That's not happening right now. I thought maybe Bobby Lashley would be a perfect opponent for him, like before all of this, but clearly Bobby Lashley has other things going on, which we're about to touch on. Um, I really don't know. A face Finn Balor would have been a perfect start for this. Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I like your Rey Mysterio guess a lot.
Yeah, I think right now it makes sense. We saw that he got moved over to SmackDown. He was going to quit, and then Triple H like struck a deal to send him over to SmackDown. So it's for a reason, most likely.
Yeah. But continuing with what I just said, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, for real this time. No championship, no nothing. Just two of the Brock is like the craziest looking human being in the world. Bobby Lashley is more ripped than anyone I've ever seen in my entire life in terms of like actually looking like a normal person and ripped. Um, and even he teeters the line of normalness there. This match, it should be 1,000 times better this time, right?
Yeah, I would think this is really going to be like the dream match that so many people wanted. We didn't really get it in full effect the last time around because there was so much going on with like Roman at the time, where everyone knew the match was Brock and Roman for months prior to the actual Brock Lashley match. So it was kind of an afterthought. And I feel like now, like you said, there's no titles on the line, which makes the outcome much harder to predict. And it's not like a by the book thing anymore, where they can kind of go a bunch of different directions, which is really cool. Raw started tonight. We're recording this on Monday with Lashley destroying Brock. And that's something we don't see. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the fact that they're willing to build this the right way in terms of yes, what does McAfee call Bobby? The alpha male of our species. Yes. Bobby last week, I'm sorry, Brock. He called Brock the alpha male of our species. Brock last week looked like the alpha male of our species, but Bobby this week looked like the alpha male of our species. So, I really like that they actually did that and are building Bobby up like, okay, two dudes are going to get in the ring and they are of similar skill sets and similar levels of being able to kill you. So, and they both could kill basically anyone. I just want to throw that out there. If I choose two dudes to defend me against like any threat whatsoever, I think I'd choose Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. I'm not even kidding.
No, I would take Beard Brock over anyone for sure.
Yeah. Maybe you can argue Braun Strowman in place of Bobby Lashley, but I think I'd take Bobby Lashley over Braun.
It's got to be like Wilderness hasn't shaved in like a year, Brock. That's what I need in my corner.
Yeah. You need the psycho Brock. Cowboy Brock is a close second too. I also like how Brock's back to being the heel because face Brock was fun, it was whatever, but that dude's a bad dude. You know what I mean? Like, he just has to be booked like that. Not that I actually believe Brock Lesnar is a bad dude, but like his character is one
I
of a bad.
mean, we're at a point now with Brock. He's never gonna get booed. Everyone loves.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where it's like it's similar to Roman. Everyone, they're so good at what they do that we love them, regardless of their heel or face status.
But I also think a lot of people are going to be on Bobby's side in this feud. Like I think that Bobby has in the past few months proven himself as like a guy here. You know what I mean? Like Like, not that he wasn't before, but he's just built himself over the last few months.
No, I agree. I think it will be like probably pretty close to split in terms of the fans' rooting interest. But at the same time, I don't think anyone's really broken up over a finish here. I feel like no one's like incentivized either way because the title's not on the line, which is really important. So everyone's just rooting for 20 minutes of chaos and fun, resulting in one of them winning, most likely via F5. But it's gonna be really good. I'm excited.
It is, and like I think you touched on, I think you hit it right on the head. This is just fun for the fans, right? This is just a fun feud for the fan. There's no title on the line. None of it matters, which means it all matters, like you said. So yeah. All right, we will move on to our main event and what is usually the main event of any show that he's on, and Roman Reigns, and really just the Bloodline. There's a lot to talk about with the Bloodline, really. So obviously we have this thing going on with Sami Zayn right now. And I think people are rushing for it to end because they are planting the seeds of it ending already with like the other day I thought it was like a little nuance, but I was like, this is one of the things that they're gonna show when they eventually turn on Sammy. And it was Roman is about to berate Jay for, you know, not doing anything, and then Sammy like interrupts him, and Paul looks at him like, how could you interrupt the tribal chief? And it's just like those little things where it's like, oh, Roman walked over to the ropes and was fine, but it's like that's a seed that was planted, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you look at like Triple H's history of like these kind of things with like Shawn Michaels and Batista. Batista's the one that I'm really thinking of when all of Evolution turns on Batista. Those seeds were planted for months, literal months before, little things here and there. Then they had the big blowover, which wound up being fake, and then they had the actual blowover in January after Batista won the Royal Rumble and chose to face Triple H. So I guess what I'm saying is, when is this Sami Zayn? When is this going to blow over?
It's so tough because it's the best thing going. It's so good. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves Sammy. I think people always loved him, but now he's elevated himself into such a position where even the people who weren't that into him are like, this guy is gold, this guy is money. And it's a really tough call to make because it's gonna be really sad. The guy do it perfectly, and I have faith they will. I think everyone involved, being Roman and Sammy and Paul Heyman and Triple H, are all really smart creatively. They're gonna make sure this is done perfectly. But even so, I don't want it to end, but it has to end. We know that. We know this is eventually leading to a heartbreak where Sami Zayn is taking 6 super kicks and a Superman punch and a spear and solo splash off the top. And he is going to be left just beaten down. They're going to rip off the honorary Uce shirt, and it's going to be the saddest spectacle ever. Where hopefully the next week, like Kevin Owens destroys Roman Reigns or something. I don't know, but it's when do I think it ends? I don't think anytime soon. I think we're definitely in it for a lot longer.
I think our theories when we first heard about the War Games match being a narrative match, I think we had these ideas that like, oh, it was going to be the four of them, the two Usos, Solo and Roman versus. I now don't believe that he's going to be gone by Survivor Series. I think he's still going to be a part of the Bloodline in Survivor Series, and if you want to continue with the storyline, maybe the Bloodline is in the Survivor Series match and Roman tells Jay to sit this one out and they put Sammy in that match instead. I could definitely see that being a thing that happens.
That would be really good. And I think you're right. Yeah, initially we were saying that 4-on-4 match, but when you look now, what is Survivor Series? A month and a half away or so?
A month, I don't even think even. It's like a month and a week, like 5 weeks away.
I don't think that's enough time here to break Sammy off and properly build this up. It's kind of like what I was saying just now, like how the beatdown's going to happen. I think he's off TV like 2 weeks after they destroy him. It's like it's going to really feel the effect, and there's not enough time to build it. That's actually really really smart. What you just said, I totally see that. I think that'd be really really cool. But we also need to now have opponents for them, which I believe we kind of have to start that build soon.
Yeah. So here is my perfect booking of Sami Zayn. And I don't believe that this is going to happen, but if the WWE wanted to throw everyone a few curveballs, this is what they would do. Do what I did, right? Do what I said about Jey Uso. Roman says, Jay, you sit this one out. So Jay and Paul are watching ringside while Sammy is in the match. Sammy is the one who gets pinned. They lose because of it. Then after War Games, they do what you said to Sami Zayn. He's off of television to the Royal Rumble, and then he wins the Royal Rumble and faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That is the way, if you really want to book this in terms of a crowd-pleasing thing, to go nuts. But I think ultimately you and I both believe that this does not, unfortunately, lead to Sami Zayn winning the Unified World Heavyweight Championship, right?
It can't, which is sad to say, but that's the perfect ending. But it's not. There's no shot he drops that belt to Sami Zayn.
I mean, like at this point, with Triple H in charge, maybe I think that there is a 1% chance that Sami Zayn could do this. Whereas opposed to before, I would have thought that there was a 0% chance. So that's an improvement, you know? But yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I don't think there's a way that Sammy's winning that title, unfortunately, but that is the right move. I just want if
I mean,
anybody anywhere that has any influence, that is the move. Do that, and I tell you, the crowd. Can you imagine the crowd if he won the Royal Rumble? Can you imagine the crowd? I mean, like, imagine like we see Cody and Randy for the first time in months, and then we see Sammy for the first time in months, and then Sammy wins the whole thing. My God. He comes back to the old theme song. Maybe he's a little more like trimmed up like he was when he was a face, you know, and I think they would just lose their minds.
it would be brilliant. It would be awesome. It's not happening.
Um, all right. So then that brings me to my next question. Does Solo beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship?
No.
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 Does Solo beat Seth Rollins for the United States Championship?
No.
So you don't think he's going to hold either of the mid-card belts?
I don't think so. I think we just gave the belt to Seth, and it's Seth Rollins, and I don't think Gunther's going to drop that soon. Unless they, no, Gunther's not going to drop that soon. I don't think so.
I'm curious to see what they do with him because he doesn't have a title. I thought there would be some emphasis. I thought maybe he would beat Bobby Lashley, and that would be like a huge win for him, obviously. And then Bobby had a really good run with the title, so it would have been okay. They could have done the same thing that they did with Seth for that, but could also add fuel to a Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feud if they really wanted to. Do like that, but I'm just curious to see like what they're going to do with him because he is kind of a beast, you know what I mean? Like he's been good. Like the matches that he wrestles have been really good. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. They're going to obviously have to do more with him because he doesn't really speak that much. So I think giving him that gold. He was also with Roman. They went to the city together after Raw last week. So that was like a big deal.
Yeah, that was pretty funny too. That whole
so yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah. The whole thing is great. Yeah, and then so I guess updated guess now. The War Games matches, the men. Who do you think is going to be in the men's War Games match?
Do you want to go first?
So
I'm going to take your Sami Zayn guess just now, and so you should have it first.
So I think that the logical explanation, if they're saying a story driven, we find somebody else to be an Imperium, and it's Imperium versus the Bloodline. I think that's the way to go.
Okay.
And again, Roman tells Jay, "You're taking the night off. Sammy's taking your spot in the match." I think that would be a really good narrative. I think it fits what's going on right now really well. If AJ would have joined the Judgment Day, I would have said maybe they make that happen somehow. But again, there's only 3 members. Like I'm trying to think of a group where there's 4 people, you know, or like where a cause of 4 people would come together.
So I hear you. Like I said, I'm taking your Sami Zayn idea because it's very smart. It's very brilliant. I'm proud of you. So we're gonna go Solo, Jimmy, Roman, and Sammy versus Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, and 2 more people.
I don't hate it, and I think Logan Paul would absolutely shine in that space.
Logan Paul is going to lose to Roman 2 weeks prior at Saudi Arabia. It's going to keep it's going to he's going to lose because the bloodline gets involved, so he has that incentive. Kevin Owens has the natural beef with the bloodline, and now Sami Zayn has that connection with him as well. We said it previously, it could be like a Ciampa and a Gargano. I don't know exactly who those last two people will be right now, but I
Pat
like
McAfee and Bad Bunny.
could be Pat McAfee and Bad
Logan
Bunny.
Paul, Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny. Boom. There you go.
It works. I think it could work if they do it well. I'd be much more interested in that scenario than Imperium. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't think Imperium would be very exciting in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I don't think it's gonna be the Brawling Brutes. Like I'm trying to think of like a team. Maybe I personally I would love to see the Street Profits in that match. So like you'll have like the solo star and then the mid card star and then the Street Profits. So like maybe I don't know. It wouldn't be Drew McIntyre. They've done Drew McIntyre so many times before. But that's just an idea. They might have to create a stable of people. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it exists, but I like your guess too. But I really hope that the Bloodline's in it either way. So, all right, I guess it's gonna do it here for us. If you guys think of anybody different than we did to put in that match with the Bloodline, or if you don't think the Bloodline are going to be in, please let us know in the comments below. And that's going to be all for us. Thank you guys for watching.